Container gardening is a great way of adding color in areas where you might not be able to otherwise have plants. And my soil is super rocky, clay, compacted, really difficult to plant things in. So that is why I like container gardening. This is an earth box container, and this is a special container because this is considered one of those self-watering containers. And what that means is there's actually a water reservoir, and there's an area here that it's the overflow. So if you put too much water, the excess water will come out there, and that's when you know you can stop watering. So I'll give you some other examples. Here I have a pot with a flag in it, and I just like that you can create almost like little vignettes in your garden. It's nothing super fancy, so you don't have to have a lot of money to do this kind of thing. And here the earth box has a cover, and that's what it comes with, is a cover. The feeding tube was that black tube right there, and the actual container itself, and a grate so that it'll create a water reservoir. And here, the other reason why I like that is you see that cover, it will actually retain moisture as well as help with weeds prevention. So you're not going to have to do a lot of weeding, unlike a raised bed where the weeds can blow in through the wind or the birds or whatever. And so it's just an easy way of gardening. You can still get high yields, and what I mean by that, I'll show you some examples. So here's my tomatoes. Look how huge these things are. So it is possible, if you have the right container, to grow large masses of vegetables. Oh, hello, Happy. And so that's why I like these self-watering containers. Now this one is an example of another brand, and this is called Tomato Success Kit by Gardener's Supply, and also a self-watering or self-irrigation system, self-watering system, because it has a little water reservoir. Excuse me, Happy. So what's good about that is it prevents the roots from getting oversaturated, and you won't get root rot, and it creates, as you can see, a great environment so that your tomatoes or your plants or whatever your crop is can flourish. So I got some big ones here. Now, there really, to me, is not a significant difference between the two types of brands, whether you go with Gardener Supply versus the Earth Box. What I will say about the Earth Box is I did have to anchor my tomatoes in the Earth Box. So here, see, here's an Earth Box one, and those bricks here are there. So as the tomatoes plant grows, and this one's huge, this one's exceeding my clubhouse. That's pretty big. But as they get really tall, they get really top heavy, so you can anchor it down. Now I've also got some tent stakes, so I just didn't have them at the time when I put this together. But those work really well. So you can see growing in these containers doesn't mean you're going to limit your plant's ability to give you a lot of great yield. You can see that this is giving me a great crop. In fact, sometimes this does better than a ground tomato because you're providing great conditions for it, and it's really easy to feed through the little tube and get into the wet water reservoir. And here's another example. You can make your own self-watering container. So this is something that I did last year. I did the bucket garden. Ugh, epic fail for me. So I tried again because I'm hard-headed and I always like to try different things. And in this situation, I kind of took the concept of what those other brands did and applied it here. And so I have a water reservoir. There was a drain hole that I drilled over here. I've put a couple bricks in there to sturdy the pot that I filled with soil, potting soil. And then I kind of created a cage. And then I took, I guess this is weed cloth, and I surrounded the cage with the weed cloth and inserted more soil. So what I'm doing here, all this area right here is soil for the tomato plant. And I think tomatoes really want soil because that gives you the nutrients, right? And in the 5-gallon bucket that I did last year, I don't think that was enough soil for the tomato plant, and probably not enough water. So there you go. You can. This is a black cherry, and you can see that it's flourishing. I also took that opportunity of excess real estate here, I consider it real estate, and used it for growing heat-resistant lettuce. And you can see theirs are doing really well. That was my little experiment. So not only am I going to get a tomato plant out of this, but I'm also going to get lettuce. So that's a great idea to try. Anyhow, Happy and I hope that you are enjoying your summer and that your gardens are flourishing. So thank you so much for watching, right, Happy? We love our YouTubers. Okay, thanks a lot.